For my interview, I had to interview my dad since it was the reason of his job and his boss that moved him here. I asked him about the connections between geography, economy, and his opinion of this move. What is your job?
I have a Master of Science in Microsystem Technology and Laser Technology. And after my studies, I moved to Japan in order to study Japanese. And together with this scholarship, I worked at Olympus and developed the camera sensor for the Mu camera at that time. After that, I applied to a German company in Japan and started as a safety engineer. And the safety engineer has to make sure that machines, appliances, household appliances, and other components are safe for usage at the workplace and public places and at home. Of course, I also got promoted during my jobs and in middle and higher management position. Currently, I'm a Chief Technology Officer and also a General Manager for electrical products in Greater China.
Why do they need the TUV here?
TUV is a testing and certification organization worldwide. We have more than 22,000 employees in 63 countries in 520 locations. Our main purpose is, as I said, to test and certify equipment for the export out of the country. And of course, since China is one of the biggest exporter with Germany and the United States together, we have here a lot of business because many equipment is manufactured in China, especially components, especially household equipment, of course IT, AV equipment, and luminaries. And all these need a certificate like CE marking for the European market, or they need so-called American mark, and we are able to give it to them. And of course, we also can test actually for 49 other countries in the world. And since I mentioned already, most of the equipment comes from China, that means our basic or biggest operation here is in mainland China.
For the next question, what was the motive of your boss making you to move here?
Before I come to mainland China, I worked actually in Taiwan, Japan, and Hong Kong. So my boss asked me first to go to Hong Kong for 2 years in order to replace laboratory manager, and then after that they asked me to come to Shenzhen because Shenzhen at that time, it was about 20 years ago, was a growing city, and of course everybody expected that Shenzhen will be the hub in the future, or Guangdong province will be the hub in the future for all the household equipment and IT AV equipment. So, and since I had a long experience in testing and managing laboratories, they asked me to come to Shenzhen.
Did your choice to go to Shenzhen have something to do with geography or health?
You're right. In fact, I could also have moved to Shanghai, and I have decided for Shenzhen because Shenzhen is closer to Hong Kong, so that means geographically closer to Hong Kong and Taiwan. It's so easy to get out of the country with a short flight time to Taiwan because my wife is from Taiwan. So therefore we make the decision together that we go to Shenzhen and not to Shanghai.
What attracted you to come to Shenzhen?
Well, Shenzhen has a very similar weather than Hong Kong and Taiwan, where I have been before, and Shanghai might a little bit be cold in the winter, so therefore from the weather perspective here, I would prefer Shenzhen. Not only Shenzhen is actually a young city at that time, and when I came here 20 years ago, and it was a fast developing city. Other cities like Shanghai, Beijing, or Guangdong, Guangzhou were already developed for a long time, so that means it's a very brand new city with a higher increase of economy and status and social development.
What do you think about this move from Hong Kong to Shenzhen?
Actually, that was my biggest decision in my life, because I've been here for 20 years. That's more than any other location I have worked at, and in fact I have worked at 7 locations for the same company. As I already mentioned, the development in Shenzhen is very rapid, and so that means you have a very potential of growth. And of course, this potential also applied to me, because we could grow from a very small number of employees of 80 when I came here 20 years ago. Now we are almost 600, and also our services expanded. And of course, my own career also grow with the company, of course. And in Shenzhen, we had a lot of possibilities we couldn't have in other cities in China.
Has your move something to do with the economy here in Shenzhen?
Sure. Guangdong province is probably the 8th largest exporter in the world, if you see it as a area. And therefore, our company has several locations in Guangdong province, Guangzhou, Dongguan, and Shenzhen. And definitely my move had something to do with the economy. In other countries like Japan and Taiwan, at that time the economy went down. Also, Hong Kong has almost no manufacturing sites and facilities anymore, and many of the factories from Hong Kong moved to the Shenzhen area.
In summary of why my parents moved to Shenzhen is because of the economy, because Shenzhen is a relatively young and fast-growing city, and the SEZ is providing jobs to people, and that causes people to migrate here a lot, to which the companies would move here because there are more consumers. So then my dad's company moved him here because their company is all about testing products and projects, so it's safe for the human digestive system or just using them.